Alright, hey guys, come back. Um, read along part two for the Amazon Prime and the other subscription business. Okay, taken from the blog from Trent Griffin. This guy, he works for Microsoft, and the blog is called 25iq.com. It's all there on the footnotes under the footnotes. Um, okay, where were we? I think we already analyzed so what happens if the CAC, the customer acquisition cost got lower, and also the churn, which is basically the people who discontinue the service, right? Uh, and I think the churn rate is also very uh, highly related with the customer acquisition cost, right? So because the churn is the percentage of people who say, okay, I got enough of this. It's too expensive, right? I'm gonna go out. I'm not gonna subscribe to Amazon Prime. I'm not gonna subscribe to Netflix, right? And because of that, you need to find another customer. And to find another customer, if your customer acquisition cost is really high, like 450 instead of like $300, then that's gonna take a hit to your kind of to your cash flow, right? Or to your bottom line. But as they say, don't try to um, go for the earnings because the earning is not a good metric to be used. I think this is what he is arguing for, um, which is kind of true um, because this is a subscription business, right? So it's like over time you like like me. I've been like subscribing to the Amazon Prime to I don't know, not me, but our family, my wife and me, the past probably 3, 4, 5 years, right? So if you just look at the earnings on that year, right, on the first year when we subscribe, and it's gonna be like take a hit in Amazon balance sheet or Amazon income statement, right? Because the customer acquisition cost is gonna be like way above, like so expensive, while the earnings uh, is only for 1 year, right? Um, so yeah, uh, so you want to see it as a more like a long-term kind of thing because the customer acquisition cost here is more like one-time thing that you have to um, like uh, go for the customer. Like so you spend like $450 per customer, right? And then the customer like and then I subscribe to Amazon. So let's say Amazon pay for the advertisement, pay for the sales, pay for the I don't know, yeah, $450, and then I said, okay, yes, I'm gonna subscribe to Amazon. But if you look at just 1 year, then I only pay like $100 because that's what Amazon Prime is. It's about $100 a year. And that doesn't reflect the real story, right? You want the real story if that person really like if me as a client really is gonna stay in the business for a long time, right? So I keep on paying like $100 every year, even though I don't buy anything or I hardly buy probably like I only buy like one or two things from Amazon, right? And that's the key. So if you stay long term, then it's worth it. That's why you cannot this paper argue you cannot just look at the earnings. The earnings is not the correct metric to look because it's going to be deceiving. The earnings is like a snapshot of that particular 1 year. And if you just take a snapshot of 1 year, you're gonna like very misrepresented. Like it's just a snapshot. Why you have to look at the long term, the annuities, the long term scale, long term time scale. Okay, so that's that. I think we've been through this, so it's useful to play around with a lifetime value spreadsheet and do uh, numerous sensitivity runs to get a feel for how the variables interact. Okay. Okay. In this case, the green often the high CAC makes high churn a potential business killer. Yeah. Green often needs to be laser focused on reducing CAC so it can better handle churn. Okay. So this is interesting. So if you reduce the CAC, customer acquisition costs, right? So let's say from 450 to $300. Um, does it mean you can handle better the churn? Yeah, kind of, because you're like, even though your churn is like high, because the customer acquisition cost is so low, kind of, right? It's very low. As I'd say, it's like the by the word of mouth. Well, the great example is like Tesla. Tesla, the customer acquisition cost is like low because I don't see them like spending a lot of money on advertisement. Probably I see them like just making like a trailers on their website, but they don't put it on a Facebook, they don't put it on Google, um, they don't put it on what NFL, right? So it's just a word of mouth. So the CAC is really low, right? And the churn rate, from what I heard, Tesla, the customer satisfaction is quite high. Although there's some complaints about their car, but from what I heard, it's quite high. So they have a competitive advantage here, right? The only things that they are a bit different is they are very high. How do you say it? Because they have to invest in a lot of machines, factories, yeah, to produce all those cars. It's not just software. So they have a lot of high fixed capital costs. But that's only kind of like one-time capital cost. It's not like recurring, right? You just buy one machine one time, and then you can use that machine to produce like I don't know 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 vehicles, right? Before you have to produce another uh, um, to buy another machine, right? So okay. So when a business reports an input into a lifetime value like CAC or churn, it's often an average. Okay, I think we're over here. A cohort is a customer who subscribes to a service in a given month. Managing customer lifetime value for a business isn't simple, as David Scott writes. If you're an early stage SaaS startup still trying to get product market fit or experimenting with different ways to make your marketing and sales predictable, repeatable, and scalable, it is useful to play around with CAC and LTV. What is LTV again? Hmm, I don't know what LTV is. What is LTV? Anyway, but it's important to note that this, where are we? Formulae will only yield meaningful results when your sales and marketing process and costs are predictable and scalable. Okay, yeah. Instead of spending too much time obsessing over CSC and LT, rather focus your energy on solving the problems or improving product market fit. Yeah, that's true. So you're obsessing about the customer, which is what Amazon is. They are obsessed over their customer and making your customer acquisition repeatable, scalable, and profitable. My apologies that there are some complex looking formula in this article. We have provided summary below of the key concepts and a link to jump straight to the spreadsheet to model your own LTV. For those interested in understanding the theory behind this model, we provide the usual detailed explanation. Okay. Making management of a lifetime value is hard for an entrepreneur and in no small part because the lifetime value variables change based on other factors like the sales channel use for use or geographic factors. A business can start out with very high CAC and then have it drop over time. Yeah, because if a business like well known already, it's just a word of mouth, right? Like XM series or Netflix or have relatively low CAC and watch it rise over time. Blue Apron, it appears. You can see the impact of these changes yourself by using Scott spreadsheet. And, okay, what, why might CAC drop? There are many possible reasons, including improved core product value over time, less competition, a booming economy, rising better, okay, blah blah blah. Spending money on a growth hypothesis before a value hypothesis is classic way to suffer horrific. Okay, so if you have money, if you spend it on a thing that is gonna grow, uh, um, instead of spending money making value, that's a terrible idea. I totally agree with this. You need to create value first. The growth will come later, right? And in order to create value, you have to know the pain point of the customer. You have to know like the problems, like really, really what the problems of the customer, the pain point. You don't really care about the growth. Normally, the growth it will take care of itself when you create the value, right? Um, so am I what I'm doing right now is um, creating value to the customer? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it depends on how many people are watching, right? But again, sometimes the value you create that is just kind of superficial value. You want to create like a real value for the customer, right? Like like for me superficial is like it I don't know. Probably I'm biased because I'm a guy. I think like wearing makeup, selling makeup product, that's kind of superficial for me. Okay, so people can be, but I don't know. Probably I'm wrong because I'm a guy, right? I do not know. Probably from a girl point of view, they make themselves like feel happy, and they feel happy. They are more productive. They're more confident, right? And if they're more confident, they can like contribute more to society, and that's where they can like create real value. So I don't know, right? The same thing like um, so it depends on how you think about value, right? Um, yeah. If the dogs don't want to eat the dog food, then what good is attracting a lot of dogs? Nothing makes it um, worse than an unhappy customer telling other people about their unhappiness. If the dogs don't want to eat the dog food, then what good is attracting a lot of dogs? If you make customer unhappy in the physical world, they might it tell six friends. If you make customer unhappy on the internet, they can tell 6,000 friends. Oh wow, yeah, it's scalable. The key is to set realistic customer expectation and then not just to meet them but to exceed them, probably in unexpected and helpful ways. Why might CAC rise? There are many reasons this could happen, including but not limited to greater competition, recession, or the need to move into new market segments as the early market segment growth. Often a high churn rate is the result of poor customer acquisition efforts. Many firms are attracting the wrong kinds of customer. We see this in industry that promote price heavily upfront. They attract deal seekers who then leave quickly when they find a better deal with another company. Before you assume you have a retention problem, consider whether you have an acquisition problem instead. Think about the customer you want to serve upfront. Cost. Okay. The goal is to bring in and keep customer who can provide value and who are valuable to you. According to my look this. Okay. In the title of this blog post, I said that I would explain how to value an Amazon Prime subscriber. If you think about Amazon Prime as an annuity in terms of lifetime value, it might look like this. Okay, here comes the difficult part. I'm gonna make it bigger, probably. Membership fees, non-prime. Um, this is per month. 95% of prime subs are on annual 99. Average frequency per month. Average basket size, monthly spend, gross margin. What is this? Customer life, 167 months. Okay. Enterprise value. How do you make a 167 months? That's like 15 years, probably, right? Because 1 year is 12 months. If it's like 10 years, it's 120 months plus another 47. So it's about 12 years. Yeah, about 12 years. What's this? Not 91% primes up renews after 1 year. 96% renew after. Okay. Hmm. 29% Amazon gross margin. Average annual spending. Okay. This LTV, what is LTV? Calculation is based on one set of assumption. By one analyst based on incomplete information, the assumption of 4 prime used by this analyst are ARPU is 193 a month. Um, Again, what is ARPU? Oh gosh. Purchasing unit something? Average revenue per user. Okay, okay, okay. Average revenue per user. Gross margin, customer lifetime is fine. Okay. Where is it? What is LTV? Average revenue per user. Okay. 193 a month. Monthly spend. Average revenue. Okay. Average frequency. One. I think that's so big. Um, Prime penetration of Amazon purchasers. 58%. Total Amazon US purchases. Gross margin churn 0.6. 14 years customer life. Discounted 9%. Gross margin 29. SAC. What is SAC? $312. Um, what is SAC? Man, I don't know what SAC is. Not good, not good. It's not very readable, this thing. I don't know what SAC is. Okay, you can use your own variable and David execute or on in conducting lifetime value analysis rather than relying on command. Not looking at lifetime value at all is a huge mistake. A company like Amazon is not understandable if you believe its business model is similar to the steel manufacturer you learn about in your introduction to accounting class. Trying to evaluate Amazon business in with B is like trying to open a can of corn with a pickle. An investor can pretend they do not need to do this lifetime value math, but the result will not be pleasant. Peter Lynch famously said that an investor who does not do research is like a poker playing. Okay, to understand the value of stock combination, to understand the business that you can understand the business like Amazon without doing this lifetime value. I will be writing more sufficient business model and so on the blog post. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So based on this, enterprise value.